Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be freaking out over the absolutely insane and completely game-changing new chapter of the Boku no Hero manga. Shigaraki is back in action. For all we know, he could already be in his perfected final form. And he just challenged the world's strongest woman, Stars and Stripes, to an aerial showdown. This fight could determine the outcome of the entire hero versus villain conflict in Japan. And by the way, it looks like this conflict just went global. We may be hitting World War proportions at this point, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed the Boku no Hero content on this channel and you want us to keep it going, please leave a quick like and comment. It only takes a second, but it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, it would actually be a huge help to us if you would make this video the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. People often complain that they can't see our videos in the recommended, and that's just how YouTube is. To make sure that you will see our future videos, you have to go through the trouble of subscribing, hitting the bell, and then selecting that option that says all. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Finally, this video will of course contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution, you have been warned. We start off with an epic cover featuring Freedom Waifu herself, Stars and Stripes. Her introduction sent fans into full simp mode last week, but not me, not Animac from AnimeUproar. Do I love a woman who can kick my ass? Yes I do. Is Stars and Stripes the ultimate Chadley madlass? Yes she is. But is that going to distract me from the intricate philosophical undertones of the story itself? No, never. And for all of you guys commenting down in the comments about how I simp for every attractive female character who is introduced in the story, how dare you? I mean, do I simp for Stars and Stripes, Miruko, Lady Nagant? Yes I do. Do I also simp for Mount Lady, Ryukyu, Uwabami, Pixie Bob? Yes. Wait, where was I going with this? Anyway, the chapter begins with All For One sitting on his villain throne surrounded by his high-end Nomu. He says that the stakes are now higher than ever before, and as this chapter progresses, we see just how right he was. All For One appears to be hiding in some cave in the middle of nowhere, and he tells Spinner that because all those prison escapees have been keeping the police busy, the villains managed to win this little game of hide and seek. By this, All For One is referring to the game of keeping Shigaraki hidden away from the heroes long enough for his procedure to be completed and for his body to be perfected. Spinner wonders why they didn't just leave Japan, since that would ensure that they didn't get caught, but All For One explains that his next goal is to get his hands on One For All. He can't do that if he leaves Japan, so he has to stay here and wait for the right moment to strike. All For One also says that he has already laid out plans that span multiple lifetimes, so he intends to stay multiple steps ahead of the heroes for generations to come. And I am sure that all For One's plans will totally turn out as he expects them to, because that is definitely what happens with the master plans of villains in shonen manga. All For One then takes the conflict in the story to a global level. He explains that he has villain friends all over the world. Due to All Might's actions over the course of many years, organized crime in Japan was almost completely wiped out. But this was not the case in other countries, so that implies that All For One has some extremely powerful and well-organized villain allies overseas. We already know that the heroes in Japan are going to get help from the heroes from other countries, but it seems that the villains may also be getting help from overpowered international villains. And that could create a legitimately global conflict within the MHA world. We might even see some sort of heroes versus villains world war before the series comes to an end, and that would definitely be a fitting climactic ending to this action-packed manga. All For One also says something extremely interesting and extremely ominous. He says that Stars and Stripes, aka America-chan, aka Freedom Waifu, is both the greatest hurdle and the greatest opportunity for the villains. She is the world's strongest woman, hailing from the home of the heroes, the land of the free, the birthplace of Chuck Norris. And because she is known to be virtuous and incorruptible, and because she is extremely strong, her potential involvement in this conflict could be a massive challenge for the villains. But at the same time, Stars and Stripes coming to Japan means that All For One has the chance to potentially steal her quirk. And All For One implies that her quirk is so strong that if he managed to steal it, the conflict would be all but over. Unfortunately, this chapter doesn't yet reveal what exactly her quirk is, but it's obvious that the quirk is incredibly powerful. And as the chapter unfolds, it becomes clear that we are about to see Stars and Stripes actually using her quirk very, very soon. We then spend some time on Spinner and his role in the conflict. All For One reminds Spinner that he used to be discriminated against because of his physical appearance, but now that he's joined the league, he has become a hero of sorts to those who were discriminated like he was. We then see that there are still some executives of the Paranormal Liberation Front out there, Skeptic is still out there, and of course there are a lot of disgruntled people who sympathize with the PLF cause. Since the League of Villains were recognized as leaders by Redestro, and since they are still free and active, they can be the ones who revive the PLF cause and recruit even more members to the movement. Ultimately, Skeptic hopes that they can all work together to support Perfect Shigaraki in his mission to destroy the future and remake it in his own image. It's interesting that direct attention was given to Spinner in this chapter, given what we saw Stain do in the last few chapters. Don't forget that Spinner idolizes Stain. Stain is the whole reason why Spinner decided to join the League of Villains. When Spinner realizes that Stain is now working with the heroes, his loyalties may be tested. I think that this is why All For One wanted to remind Spinner about his past discrimination in this specific moment. All For One wants to ensure that Spinner will remain loyal to the League even when he learns about Stain's actions. I'm not like a massive fan of Spinner or anything, he's just like an okay side character in my opinion, but I am definitely curious to see how he will react when he comes face to face with Stain in the future and when they find themselves on the opposite sides of this conflict. We then jump to Hawks and Genist cruising around in Genist's Batmobile and talking about Freedom Waifu. She is expected to enter Japanese airspace shortly, and the top pro heroes are rushing out to meet her once she arrives. It is clear that both Hawks and Genist think very highly of America-chan, and she's definitely being built up as one of the most impressive heroes on the planet, so I can't wait to see her in action. And speaking of seeing her in action, Hawks and Genist's casual conversation is suddenly interrupted by Tsukauchi, who informs the two of them and Endeavor that the Japanese government has detected something strange in the airspace near the location where Stars and Stripes is supposed to land. We then see Freedom Waifu's stealth bombers floating above the clouds, but coming out to meet them before they can reach Japan is none other than freaking Shigaraki himself. Standing on the back of a flying Nomu, Shigaraki appears to be fully conscious and ready to do battle. As America-chan asks him whether he is the villain known as All For One, Shigaraki says, "Who am I, indeed?" And that is how this insane chapter ends. Whoa, what just happened here? We just learned in the previous chapter that Shigaraki's procedure would be complete in only 3 days, which was a massive shock on its own, but then in the very next chapter we see Shigaraki back in business and facing off against everyone's favorite new buff waifu, Stars and Stripes. Have 3 days already passed? Or is Shigaraki risking going out in his imperfect form because he couldn't allow Stars and Stripes to link up with the other heroes in Japan? Either way, this is such a high stakes showdown. If Stars and Stripes wins here, All For One's entire master plan would basically collapse. But if Stars and Stripes loses, and if All For One succeeds in stealing her quirk like he is planning to, then the heroes are essentially screwed big time. Also, is this even the Shigaraki we know? Is it All For One completely controlling his body? Or is this something in between, a mixture of Shigaraki's and All For One's consciousnesses working together? Can Shigaraki in this current form actually take Stars and Stripes down? Also, what is America-chan's quirk? Her quirk is definitely extremely strong because All For One desperately wants to steal it, and I'm guessing that it's probably going to be heavily inspired by the abilities of Superman, but that is just my personal speculation. This was such an exciting chapter, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I mean, just a few chapters ago, we had Jiro talking about bringing the band back to make the people at the shelter feel better, and now we are right back to Shigaraki facing off against the world's strongest woman in what could be a make or break fight. The Boku no Hero endgame is about to begin, and things will only get crazier from here on out. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of this chapter in the comments, and what do you think Freedom Waifu's quirk is going to be? I always love hearing from you guys, especially after such an intense and game-changing chapter, so don't forget to leave your feedback. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Boku no Hero videos right here on the channel in the future, please leave a like and comment. It only takes a second, but it helps a lot. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a quick thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons who make videos like this one possible. Special thank you to Alpha Sigma. This man is an absolute mad lad and a disciple of Lord Twigo himself. And I can't forget all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who stand above all other clans, including Ingrata, Pate Hefa, Aljatal, Hinokami and Water, The Toasted Chi, The Spike, Corey McGowan, Kaido Might Be a Gyarados, Dylan Isidore, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, Cody Hebert, Monkey D. Quilly, and Jeremy Cummings. Finally, thank you also to our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, the Red-Haired Raven, Angel Cruz, Rathu Indeora, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Bonnie Parks, Joanne Garcia, Ted No Ted, and Fatboy Games. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our Patreon exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.